All right. Perfect. So the next model is investing. So after you've taken care of everything, you've taken off care of the financial foundation, you've taken care of the debt, you've taken care of your four account system, you've taken care of your financial fortress and all of that. The next thing for you is now to start investing. Do not skip emergency fund. Do not skip debt payoff before you go to invest them, because a lot of people make that mistake, and this is where they start jumping in and like, okay, I have my income, let me start jumping in. Mm-mm. And what is the real purpose? Why should we invest? It's basically three things: grow your money, protect your money, and of course, gain financial freedom. I believe everybody said financial freedom. That's one of the goals that everybody talked about when we asked earlier, what is your goal for this particular training? One of it is almost everybody said financial freedom. I think if you said just being able to learn and to also give back, right? So gain financial freedom. But before you gain financial freedom, you want to protect it. You have to grow it. You have that. It starts with your income. Then you put it to growing it. Then you protect it. And of course, using the financial fortress, right? Grow it because you already have the financial foundation. You're not bleeding in debt. You are already taking care of emergency fund, protecting it. And then you can now be putting it towards wealth building, whereby you gain financial freedom. So, the core reason why people invest is grow, protect, and gain financial freedom, because investing enables your money to grow over time, right? If you put your money in the bank account, it's not going to grow. Sorry, rule of 72: take 72 divided by 0.01. What you get is what? 7,200 years. It means that if you put your money in the bank, your money will double 7,200 years. So it's not in your lifetime, not in another 7,200 lifetime over and over. Your money is not going to double. But when you put it in investing, you grow your money, right? Over time, yielding better returns than traditional savings account. You're also protecting it against inflation, right? Protection against inflation. Inflation is at 3.8%. As of last month, it was 3.3%. Now it's 3.8%, and I don't even know what it is right now, right? I've not checked, but because gone are the days where we don't have to check, right? But now you check it and it's changing, right? It means that you're losing your money, right? Ensuring, because your money is diminishing over time at 3.8%. That's what it basically means, whenever we say that inflation. So you want to protect your money against inflation. The other thing is that you can achieve your life goals, whether it's retirement, education, or buying a home. Financial freedom. Investing helps you reach your financial milestone. So if all that you've been doing is putting your money in saving, unfortunately, you're just running in the wrong direction. That's what you're doing, because people can be running. People are moving, but you need to make sure that you are moving in the right direction, because you could be moving. If you are supposed to be going in the backward direction, or you can be running on the spot. Some people are running in the backward direction, which is the wrong direction. Some people are running towards the right place, gaining financial freedom. Some people are running on the same spot. They are sweating on the same spot. But guess what? If you are putting your money in the savings account, that's basically what you're doing. You're sweating, you're just on a treadmill on the same spot, sweating but not moving anywhere. All right. Okay. So, what then is, when we say investing, how do we invest? Because investing is the core. Investing means that you're making your money work for you instead of you just saving it. Your money, this is how you grow your money. You probably would have heard, let your money be working harder than you do. It means that you are having an extra stream of income. That's how you gain more stream of income, right? Making your money work harder than you do, not only saving it and losing it to inflation, diminishing it to inflation. Examples of investing could be buying shares of the companies, right? Instead of you buying, I always say this: whenever you do upgrade that your iPhone, buy Apple stock. You remember Dr. O, right? I feel her pain. I do feel her pain when she said that Netflix, it was at 100 with $100, right? Our money would have become $67,000, even if it were just $100, right? So just the same way, don't let it be our own story. Right? Where she's still paying, you can change that right now and start in every single time. Change from being a consumer, whatever you consume, right? Always think about it, be an owner. You, instead of you being the consumer, be an owner. Still be you can still be a consumer, buy an iPhone, still using an iPhone, but then invest also in Apple, which is the stock for the ownership or the company, right? The company itself is Apple. You're taking soda, you like Coca-Cola, which is not the best for you, by the way. You're taking Coca-Cola, but right? Invest in Coca-Cola. You go to Costco, invest in Costco. Always think about it that way. Like, okay, where's the next thing? I buy gas, right? All of those things are your basic needs. So the way she thought about it, that's how you do it, because you're open, it's going to increase in value. Purchasing real estate and any rent or selling it later, right? For more is also another option. Putting money into bonds and any interest, investing in funds like mutual funds or ETF, which is what we talk about here a lot, right? And I'm going to emphasize on it that it spreads your money across multiple assets. What does this do? It simply means that instead of you buying Apple, what if something happens to Apple? And I always make this illustration. Let's say Apple owns something called a data center, and one of the arm of Apple is AWS. AWS is the data center that hosts so many other companies' data, right? They protect it. Just imagine if you got hacked, there's a vulnerability in the system. What's going to happen, right? There's going to be a lot of litigation. There's also going to be ransom paid. It's what's going to happen to the stock of Apple. The stock is going to collapse. What ETFs helps you do is, because whenever you take your $100, Dr. O's $100, instead of her investing alone in Apple, right? She's taking that $100 and she's investing not just in Apple, but she's investing in about 3,800 stocks, 600 stocks, or she's investing in 500 stocks with just that 100. What that means is that if, just to think about it, Netflix could have failed, right? She's seeing the success story right now, right? But some other things failed already. BlackBerry failed, right? BlackBerry is $3, whatever right now, or how much is it, right? That's just it. She could also lose the money, but we're talking about the success story, and that's why she's paying. But now think about it. You have in that basket, you have just not Amazon, you have Apple, you have Google, you have Microsoft, you have Coca-Cola, you have, being able to just imagine you being able to buy all of the different stocks, right, in one basket, right, with just that your $100 versus just one, right? One versus multiple. That helps you to do what? Spread your money across many assets with whatever little amount. And what that does for you is diversification. Diversification helps you to lessen your risk. It's proven, and most of the time it is proven long-term growth, right? It's at all-time high until yesterday when we found blood on the market. Like the market went all the way yesterday, right? And of course, a lot of people panicked, right? Yeah, I hope we have not sold, right? So far, you know what you're buying, right? It's an opportunity for you to dollar cost average. So easy low entry with $1, you can start investing, right? You can start investing in multiple assets at the same time. The other thing about ETF is the data and the trend. And guess what? The wealthy, remember, this is the $1 million league. We are the $1 million league. So we'll learn from what the millionaires gets to do. That's what we get to do with it, and that's basically what we, and some of the ETF that we talk about, just to give you a few, just to give you a few ETF, and you're wondering how to get started, or you don't, ETFs allow you to own many companies as one. So like VOO will track, VOIVVSPY track S&P 500. This is top 500 companies in the United States, right? You can buy the entire US stock market, which is the VTI. You can buy the international, which is the VXUS. You can buy some other one, and you can buy from anywhere in the world, by the way. You can buy from anywhere in the world, right? Anyway, so you want to make sure that but it just basically help you to diversify and spread your risk, where you are buying multiple stocks at the same time. QQQ focuses on technology. That's another one. NASDAQ 100. There's another one, SCHD, that focuses on dividend paying companies, right? You don't need hundreds of stocks. You just need the ETF. ETF is just going to, this is a strategy that the multimillionaire, which is what our mentor, right? Multimillionaire, our mentor, because this is $1 million league, like I said. Right, so it means that whatever they're doing, we're doing, right? If we do the same thing, we're going to achieve the same result. So with where they put their money is, they put their money in index funds and in the ETFs, which is the same thing. Potato. One is traded like stock, like you can buy and sell like normal, on a trading window. But index fund is everything at the end of the day. When the market is settled, that's when you know how much you have, how much it's priced, or how much did you buy, or whatever, something of that nature, something. So it's about instant versus end of day. That's just the difference. So we have S&P 500 for index funds. S&P 500 is like FXIX, which is with Fidelity. So if that's your own preference, it really doesn't matter. They've returned the same thing because they track almost the same thing. They track the same kind of stock, right? And that's why investing is very, very important, right? Because without investing, you cannot grow your money, right? When we say grow your money, it simply means that, something called the power of compounding, and I call it the eighth wonder of the world. I give you an instance. It's something it's not me, the rule of 72. Right? The rule of 72 simply shows how long it takes your money to double. That's what the rule of 72 shows. So with an S&P 500 I just talked about earlier, in the past 30, 40 years, remember, it showed that it has trend. It has trend, right? There's data and trend. That's one thing about all of this ETF. It has done the past 30, 40 years is returned 8 to 12%. In the past 10 years alone, it's done 14 to 15%. So it means that let's be very conservative. If you take 10%, it means that, back to the rule of what we talked about earlier, if you put your money in the S&P 500, in the stock market, investing in the basic S&P 500, for looking at what it's done in the past 30 years, your money is going to double in 7 years and 2 months. But if you put it in the bank, how many years? 72 years, 72,000 years. If you put it in an IE savings account, giving you 5%, it's going to double in about maybe 14, 15 years. So it just tells you, if you put it in, using the data for the past 10 years, right? It means that your money would double in 4 years, right? And that's what 4 years or 5 years. If you use that strategy, that's how you build wealth, right? That's how you build wealth. So do not just leave your money in the bank account if you want to build wealth, because compound interest is what they call it the eighth wonder of the world, and they call it the magic in finance, right? You want magic, right? I can tell you how you can turn your $27 to 1.6 million. $27 every single day. That is $27 every single day for 365 days. That's $10,000. So if you have been looking, I need $10,000, $27 a day. If you do that for 10 years, you're going to have what? $100,000. $100,000 using this Using 14.5%, every 5 years, it means your money is doubling. Year one, your by year five, your 100,000 becomes 200,000. Year 10, your 200,000, your 100,000 becomes 400,000. Year 15, your 100,000 becomes 800,000. You did not add any other money to it. All you put in is 100,000, right? And the year 20, your money becomes $1.6 million. And that's why you're wondering, why are they calling it a magic infinite? Isn't that magic? 100,000 to become, or even $27, right? To become 1.6 million. Isn't that magic? That is magic, right? That is magic. It's enough for people to say, oh, you know what? We guys, whenever we say this, I was like, oh, you know what? You guys are lying. You don't know what you're talking about. It's not possible. Take an go on investor.gov and you will see the calculation right there, right? Just take the numbers, plug the numbers in. I always say that on social media, right? Trust but verify, right? Whatever we're saying, go and verify it. Go on investors.gov and use the investor calculator and put the numbers. As a matter of fact, know what your retirement number is, know what your net worth is. Use all of those things and use it to plan yourself. So make sure that, so think about it, $250 per paycheck, right? Done for 10 years, that's $225,000. Put it, leave it there for another many years. Guess what? You get 4.6 million. Take the investor calculator and use it to check it. I did not create it. $250 per paycheck equals $500, right? Invested consistently over time, these grow into significant wealth. The key isn't perfection. What is most important is consistency, right? Consistency. Do it every payday, every paycheck, like clockwork. The same way you are going to work every time. That's the same way. Every payday, make sure that you're doing it. Stay invested, right? Market goes down, market goes up, you are still buying. That's it. It's called something called dollar cost averaging. That's how you build it, right? Do it over time. Trust me, you will find yourself in that $1 million status. And that's why I can confidently call this community, I can confidently say it as a convener to say that it's the $1 million league, because if you follow the principles and the strategies that we've just talked about, I tell you that you will get there. You can easily back check it. It's something that is hidden in plain sight, because it's right there in the front of everyone. But guess what? A lot of people are not just following it, or they just feel that it's so long. 20 years is a long time, until you realize that 6 years ago was COVID-19, or 7 years ago, if you use the 19 behind it, it's already 7 years ago. That means your money, if you had put 100,000, your money would have been close to like 400,000 now, even if it's just 100,000. So that's it. Always think about time in the market. Stay invested and let time. What shifted the $100,000 was 20 years, right? 100,000 was the beginning. It ended in 20 years and it became 1.6 million. So 1.5 million was as a result of 20 years, right? That's it. And of course, not invested, not in the bank account. If you leave it in bank account, trust me, you get $2. $2 is what you get. All right. So and think about what I said earlier, running in the right direction or walking on the same spot. Somebody that used this strategy I talked about is going on the front, going to the right direction of financial freedom. The person that leaves the same amount of $100,000, $27 every day, and leave it in the bank account, guess what? That person is going to, have what's it called? Be running on the same spot, right? And the person that's not even doing it, I'll put it in penny stock or day trading. That one is even running backwards. So make sure that you are within the winning team, within the $1 million league, going in the direction. That's why we do delayed gratification, not instant gratification, not hypes, not get rich quick scheme, because the multimillionaire, that's what they do. Okay. All right. So let's go. Now, let us talk about the common mistakes, because, and I think I already addressed some of the mistakes. Why people, why people don't, the common mistake to avoid when it comes to investing. One of the biggest thing is that it's not, a lot of time people will think that, oh, it's about what I invest in. What if I pick the wrong ETF? What if, something happens to the market? But guess what? I tell you, the biggest error that anybody can make is never starting. Never starting investing. That's the biggest issue that you can have, right? It's bigger than, investing the wrong way. It's bigger than, even using get rich quick scheme, because at least I learned something losing $99,000, right? That, okay, don't do day trading, don't do penny stock, don't do options trading. Now I've learned that, right? There's something that I learned from the experience, but not doing it at all. Just imagine, I did not learn anything. So one of the biggest thing is not even investing at all, right? Procrastination, timing the market, lack of education, assuming a lot of capital is required, overthinking and overcomplicating. The biggest is not even starting, right? So you want to start investing right away, right? Right away, immediately, because you are the only one keeping yourself from investing, right? And where do we buy the action? Okay, give me 1 second. So someone asked the question. Sorry, I've not been looking. All right. So let's see. Can we please let's see? Can we please have some of this? Okay, not that. Okay. Do we can we fidelity as well as brokerage accounts? Yes, I'll show you how that fidelity, as there's so many other brokerage accounts, because we do have everything, regardless of the country. Like I said, you can start investing anywhere in the world with any amount. You're all the only one that is just stopping yourself, right? With any amount, with anywhere in the world, you can start investing. And every different country has their own different brokerage account. So we have the different listed. In the United States, there's Fidelity, right? There's Fidelity, there's Robinhood, there's so many of them, right? In the United States, I guess, can we do from Fidelity as well? Yes, you can do it from Fidelity. Okay, let me see. Where can we get the books? Okay, we answered that. Where do we buy the action? I'm not sure the action. Are, are you talking about ETF? I'm not sure what you mean. Della, can you clarify what you mean by that? All right. So we have model 4, which is the real estate wealth. There's a reason why I call it real estate wealth. There's a reason why we call it real estate wealth, because a lot of the debates always come up. And how do we invest in Coca-Cola or Costco? Yeah, so we'll come back to that, Della. Okay, we'll come back to that. All right, so remind me at the end. So model real estate. Why real estate? It's one, whenever we're talking about the stock market, we're talking about growing money, building your capital. Or when it comes to real estate, we're talking about wealth. If you want to build wealth, right? Real wealth. Because real estate will pay you in 6 different ways. Real estate creates wealth in multiple ways simultaneously. This is why so many wealthy individuals own real estate. I mean, as a matter of fact, remember, the blueprint is the multi-millionaire, not even the millionaires. Multi-millionaire is the $1 million league blueprint. So if you want to know what principle we follow, it's a multi-millionaires blueprint, because they have to have real estate in there. It just has to be real estate. Why? Because your tenant helps you to pay your mortgage. Your property appreciates over time. Your loan balances decreases. You receive tax advantages. Real estate allows you to use other sources of capital to build wealth. Small money can control big asset. So one asset has 6 benefits. As a matter of fact, there is no other asset class that gives you this much benefit uh, when it comes to returns and building wealth. Because you see cash flow, appreciation, equity, tax benefit, use of other people's money, leverage. Let me talk about other people's money, for instance. If you want or leverage, if you want to invest in the ETF, my friend earlier was asking about Della was asking about Coca-Cola. You want to buy 100,000 worth of Coca-Cola, you got to have that 100,000 of the dollars in your account. But when it comes to real estate, you want to buy real estate worth 100,000. With as little as $5,000, if you're an FHA, you first-time homeowner, you can invest in real estate. With $20,000, you can invest in a property of 100,000, right? You get that property. There is a process and a procedure for it without any big deal, right? And guess what? The other thing that the bigger part of the wealth building, because then you were like, oh, well, there's no big deal. You're using credit, you're using loan financing versus, somebody paying cash, right? That's the only difference based on what I said. However, it is way bigger than that. Because your growth is going to be, using the initial illustration, your growth is going to be on 100,000, not on the 20,000 or 5,000 that you invested. So when it comes to the stock market, your growth is going to be on the 100,000, right? Remember, if you use the same 100,000, let's say using the same money, if you have to invest in the stock market, you only have $20,000. You'll be able to, that's all that you have. You have your stocks of 20,000. With real estate, with $20,000, using the investment loan, right? You are able to have $100,000 in terms of asset. Now, your growth is on, when it comes to real estate or when it comes to ETF, your growth is going to be it's going to be on 20,000. When it comes to your real estate, your growth is going to be on 100,000. That's the difference. You see the appreciation, the level of appreciation when it comes to ETF is going to be on a certain percentage, which is way lower than compared to real estate. The return on investment is something else. And then you're like, but guess what? You're going to be paying interest on that money. Is eating on all of that. It does not. Because guess what? Somebody else is doing what? Paying that interest. Paying that is your tenant that is paying it. It is not you that is paying it. So somebody else is funding that life for you. The 100,000, remember, you took a loan of 20,000, loan of 80,000, right? You put $20,000 down. Somebody else is the one paying that 80,000 on your behalf. That's the beauty of real estate. The other part of it is that, remember, tax brackets. We said that, okay, your taxes are higher and all of that. Real estate is going to pay, IRS is going to pay you for owning real estate because you have a whole lot of tax write-off. And that's why the multimillionaires put their money in real estate. Through equity, when your tenant pays you, you are gaining ownership. It gets to a certain point, either under 15 years or under 30 years, you rent it out for that period. Guess what? Your loan will become zero, right? It becomes zero. And guess what? That interest that you are talking about, that property taxes, you are also getting it as tax benefit under the tax benefits bucket. So there are multiple, talk about multiple stream of income. In just one asset class, you are having multiple stream of income. You can use leverage, you can use other people's money, tenants' money, IRS money, the bank's money, right? Bank's money to purchasers, tenants' money to pay off, IRS money to fund all of those fees, right? Then you gaining equity, appreciation. Real estate doubles itself every 10 years or less, right? If you buy it in the right neighborhood, BC, ABC neighborhood, not the D getter neighborhood, right? You see that your money is going to grow. And you're wondering why somebody puts money in the savings account and the person is still living paycheck to paycheck, is not building wealth, works 65 years, and still does not have financial freedom. That's the reason, because this person did not put money in the stock market, did not, all he's doing consistently putting the same money in the bank, getting 0.01%. Meanwhile, there's another person doing the same thing, putting the same amount in the stock market and also buying ETF and also converting it to real estate and then expanding through that way. And that's what real estate does for you. So that's the other asset class that we invest in. And the other thing is that a lot of people always think that, how then do you buy this real estate? That's like the next question, right? Number one, think about your credit, right? Because that 80,000, you need to have credibility to be able to get it, right? But then, even if you don't have it, there are ways around it. So we're going to get into that, right? Save for down payment. Remember that 20,000, 5,000, whichever, how much is that property? What is the down payment? For instance, down payment, investment property, the numbers 20%. FHA loan, 3 to 5% is what you put down. If it's VA, is even lower in terms of the loan that you're. So you need to have these down payment requirements, right? That's what you need to put down. And you'll be like, but I don't have that money, right? I hear it every time. $27 a day will bring you $10,000. So that's enough to even bring you the down payment and you still have some change, right? So, and it doesn't have to be 100,000. It could be 200, it could be 300,000. Just do your calculation based off of that. The next thing is that get pre-approved, right? This is when you show that, okay, you know what? Like just the same way you register for this class, or if you did not register for this class, what's going to happen, right? There's no reminder. There's nothing, right? There's nothing. That's what's going to happen right there. So get pre-approved, and then the other thing is that find a deal, right? Because you're going to get blanket approval for maybe 250,000, 300,000 based off of your income. They qualify you, and then once you have that, you need to like, okay, now what am I qualified for? Then you find the deal, and then once you find the deal, the next thing is for you is what? Just follow the process, and of course, close out on the property, rent out the property, and of course, manage. That's it. That's the process of buying a property. That's the process of buying a property. Oh my God. All right. So, and then real estate, right? Some things that people always say about real estate. Real estate, is too risky. But guess what? The fact that you put your money in the stock market, I mean, not stock market. You put your money in the bank, you're losing it to 3.8% inflation, right? So isn't that biggest risk, right? The fact that you go to work, you could get laid off. There comes to that risk, right? So, but people always believe that, you need a perfect credit, not necessarily. And even if you don't have a perfect credit, there are processes that you can do, making sure that you start paying off your credit, paying off the balances within the billing cycle. You can always get to shift it as quickly as possible. As a matter of fact, 90 days, right? 90 days is what it takes for you to build to buy real estate from start to finish. So if your goal is, okay, you know what, I want to buy real estate, it takes just 90 days. And the other thing is that some people think that you need huge money. You don't, really. You don't. I just talked about $27 a day, 10,000. So it means in a year, you can actually own your property. Within that 1 year, you can actually already have the down payment and of course, build your credit. You can even do it under 3 months, depending on if you prioritize it. Delayed gratification. Remember what Dr. O and Dr. Ade said earlier, right? They said it wasn't easy. It's even easy for you to wake up every morning and go to work 9 to 5 and do it for 30, 40 years, right? And then they now tell you that there's a way out, right? That is guaranteed way out for you to even do it to do the 45 years in 10 years, right? And you are going to be financially free. Who is going to take that way out, right? Put one if you're going to take that way out. Put one if the 45 years rat race, They tell you that, okay, delay the gratification for, maybe 5 years or something. Do this 5 years, and you can end the rat race, end that your boss that is breathing down your neck, that job that you don't like, you can end it. Put one if that's going to be an avenue for you. Because I would choose it. Put one, exactly. Della said one, right? I know a lot of people would take advantage of that to say, okay, you know what? uh, any other person, just put one in the comment, and that, okay, instead of 45 years, you're doing it in 10 years. You just need to delay yourself and deny yourself for a little bit, right? And you'll find yourself in that. So it doesn't require a huge money, right? It's not too risky, right? It is not too risky. You just need to understand and learn, right? Take the education, and that's all that you need, and start doing. I mean, start investing. Took me $1,000 14 years ago to build double-digit real estate portfolio, double digits that I own and I manage that I manage. So you know what that means, right? Just 1,000 tons to millions of dollars. So yeah, so get the education and start building wealth. So it's not too risky. You don't need huge amounts, and of course, you don't need a perfect credit. But a perfect credit is also very would help you to reduce the interest rate. So let's go to your wealth blueprint, right? Because those are, like, we've touched on all of the four, pillars. We start with your skills, right? Your skills it starts with your skill that my beautiful doctors, Dr. O and Dr. Ade, really anchored well and gave us how to increase your income, right? The next thing we talked about, the next thing is we talked about the next thing. All right. So, like, the modify is, about your wealth blueprint, because now we're going to talk about the execution, all of the five, from your skills, from skills to what? From your skills. Let me be sure that we're following. From your skills, who wants to help? Who wants to help? From your skill, what is next? Let me show. I hope we have a note. Just who wants to, from your skill, what is.
Asset.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, asset. Great, great, great. So, yeah, so start investing. But then, even before asset, Andrew, before asset, we need to have our build our financial fortress and our financial, our financial
Emergency fund. Sorry.
foundation. Yeah, great, great. Thank you so much for that. Awesome. I have fun, quality people here. Thank you. Awesome. So think about it. Number one step is increase your income, right? The next step is protect your income, right? Build that foundation, your pay off the debt, have the four account system, ensure that you have the four account system, ensure you pay off the debt, have your emergency fund. Then you can then have your insurance in place. Then you can start investing, and then you buy asset, right? Asset is real estate specifically, and businesses, and then you have financial freedom. The increase in your income will give you something called peace, right? I mean, it means that you are earning, right? Income will create opportunity for you. Foundation will protect your wealth, right? Investing will grow your wealth, while real estate is going to accelerate the wealth. That's the way it works. And when you accelerate the wealth, guess what? Financial freedom becomes possible, right? Remember, everybody said financial freedom for the start, right? So we are back to it. Financial freedom will give you peace. Imagine yourself on one private island, the money that you have made, for a day, right? $100 an hour. Imagine yourself making that money, right, for 40 hours, the whole of last weekend. You are on one private island, sipping coconut water. I always say this, it's because it's just an imagination. That's always been my motivation. And then you still make that money. Let's say you make $150,000, or you make 200,000 a year. But guess what? You can be on that island and you're still making that $200,000 a year. That's what financial freedom is, right? I'm not saying go sit down there for a year, but you understand what I mean, right? be work optional, right? Work optional. Work because you want to work, not because you have to work, to pay bills. And that's when you have your financial peace, right? Asset will help you own and multiply. Invest will help you grow. Protect it helps you, when you have those, your foundation and fortress, it helps you keep. And then income is the starting point that will help you to earn. All right. So, one thing that I want us to do, one thing I want us to do, I want us to, okay, I want us to know what's your financial number. I've talked about $27 a day. That's $10,000, right? Invested in 14 point to 15% in an S&P 500, 20, 30 years, you get more than 1.6 million. How many people is 1.6 million life changing to? Put one. If 1.6 million is life changing to you, put one in the comments or put yes. Put yes in the comments if 1.6 million is going to be life changing to you. Put yes. All right? Because 1.6 million, it's life changing. Let's be realistic. Let's be realistic. And with just $27 a day, right? Also know, yeah, it's okay, life changing, right? Annual expenses than 25. Right? What is your annual expenses times 25 will give you your financial freedom. So you want to know what is your financial freedom number? What? Because everybody's saying financial. Yeah. What is your financial freedom? Somebody says that yes, and return to Africa. Okay. All right. Okay. You better start packing a bag because you're on your way to doing that, Andrew, right? You're on your way because you're on your way to getting there. Right. Always know, because some people just want to say, okay, I want financial freedom, but what is financial freedom to you? Because what is financial freedom to A is different from B. Financial freedom to, it could be 10 million your financial freedom number. Andrew just said, he's going to, if it's 1.6 million is his financial freedom number, it's packed in his bag and leaving the United States, going back to Africa. Right? That's what he said, right? To another person, 1.6 million is just the beginning, right? And some people, it's just 500,000. That's okay, right? But as a matter of fact, you're in this community because this is the $1 million league. You don't have an option that at least get to the $1 million status, right? That's it. That's the goal, at least. So what is your financial freedom number? Remember, we talked about the net worth earlier, right? So you should take note of that. Go and calculate that. Then what is your financial freedom number, right? At what point can you say that, you know what, I would leave this, I'll quit this, my job, if my other streams of income, if my asset, right, becomes this value, right? My net worth or my asset becomes this value. Once I get there, right, I can become work optional. Because some people, have you ever thought of that? Because you need to think about that, because they say people retire at 40, not because they have $10 million, right? Not because they have 100 houses, but because they have the number in mind to say that when I get to this number, right? So this is going to help you. Annual expenses times 25. Annual expenses. So if your annual expenses every single month, maybe your expenses is $5,000, $5,000 times 12, know what that is, then multiply by 25. If you have that, then, invest it. Is that a financial, that should guide you into financial freedom. And then you can say you retire, because you want to also know your retirement number. What is it going to be when you retire? Also use the rule of 72. Use the investor.gov. It's going to help you, to use the calculator to know how much do I need in retirement? Do I need just $100,000 every single year, right? Those are things that you need to know. Then another thing is that some people, when it comes to real estate, they want to become Robert Kiyosaki with 15,000 properties. What is the number for you? Let's say you keep buying real estate every single year or every single 2 years, right? I mean, we did that for years, right? Right. But the thing about it is, if you're buying a real estate every single year, right, it gets to a certain point to get to maybe a number, right? What is that number for you? And I put it here for you. Just 5 properties is going to like 200,000 each. it's going to give you a rental income of $2,000. It's going to give you once you pay it off, it's going to give you a net worth of $1 million. That is $10,000 in terms of monthly rental income, which is $120,000. Is that what you are looking for? So you need to know your number, because when you imagine, always say it, if your mind cannot conceive it, you cannot achieve it. Or if your heart or mind cannot perceive it, your heart cannot achieve it. So know all those things, your freedom number, your net worth, what is it for you, right? And then you start walking towards a goal, because remember, it's a goalpost. You are trying to aim at that goalpost. That's what you're trying to do, right? You keep kicking, but then if you don't know what you are aiming at, right? So that's it. And see your future self, right? And you know if there's a gap already, that's okay. You know what? Am I even getting there? Am I even in the right direction? Or I'm walking in one step. I'm just running and sweating, doing 9 to 5 every day, but then I'm not even getting anywhere. And I don't even have anything in retirement, right? You'll be so surprised at the number of Americans that do not, or, other countries as well. I say America because I live in the United States, right? That don't have the next paycheck. So don't have the next paycheck, and they don't even have assets. Some people don't have next paycheck, but they have the assets, right? Right. I remember there was one December that, it was one of the most interesting. We had nothing left because we were asset rich, but we were cash broke. Thank God we had already bought Christmas gifts and all of that. That's the only reason we bought it during Black Friday, because we literally took all the cash to buy a 250,000 home on the 21st of December. So literally taking $250,000 to buy. So you're asset rich, but you are cash poor. So that was our case that December. So you need to know, right? You need to know those numbers and then work towards that number. Okay. And of course, all the children, we told them, what, that's the situation. We keep it simple, because go and look at the house and dance in the house. We do that sometimes, it's like crazy. So also know something, investing alone doesn't do it. Always remember, investing will build you well, but cash flow builds freedom. So just saying that you're investing in the stock market, think about diversification. Investing in stock market, a lot of time I get this debate, ETF or real estate. No, we are not picking and choosing, just the same way we're not picking individual stocks. We're doing ETF, we're doing real estate, we're doing businesses. Those are the 3 pillars, right? And of course, you have your income as well. And at some point, income is no longer needed. These other 3 millions are the ones that are not going to replace the income, right? Because that's the multi-million nearest wealth blueprint. That's the blueprint which we follow. Investing builds wealth. Cash flow is built. Your cash flow builds freedom. Because when you invest, remember, until you sell it, except you are doing something like an STHD, which gives you dividends, right? Most of the time, until you sell it, that's when you get something in return, all right? But with real estate, you don't need to sell it. Money is coming every single month. As a matter of fact, on the first, money is just coming on the first, right? Yeah, so that's how it is. You need income that doesn't depend on your time, right? The only way you know that you're building wealth is if you stop working today, right? Or if you are not working, does money come in, right? Just think about it. If your money stops or your wealth stops when you're not there, or when you are not working, when you're not trading your time, then you're not building wealth, right? Because it means that you cannot fund your lifestyle without trading your time, right? So, and that's not financial freedom. Financial freedom is, I'm not trading my time, but I have the wealth. I can still fund my lifestyle, right? Because what cash flow does, right? When your asset generates income, you are no longer dependent on your job. That's what cash flow does. Your lifestyle becomes optional. And that's when real freedom begins, right? Real freedom. And look at your 12 months plan. So also look at that. Have a 12 months plan with all of these things that we are talking about, right? What does it covers your expenses, reduce your job dependence, build freedom, right? These are the system, right? You are all building a system. Everything is a system. Don't just, I always say wealth building, it's not a joke, right? It's not for you have to be intentional about it, because if you're not intentional, you put money in the bank. Guess what it does? 7,200 years. Your money is just there, not getting anything. But if you are intentional about it, you have protection, you also ensure that you're investing in all of these pockets, and then you see your money growing exponentially. And not just not ETF stocks alone, you're also investing in real estate. You're putting it, once you get to real estate, then the next thing is, you put it in businesses. Business, who says you cannot buy McDonald's? Who says so? It's just you, right? It's just in your mind. So, and let me just share my own personal story to all of this, right? And we're almost getting there, right? My own personal story, right? How did I get into investing, right? I started my corporate career, and I did share about I increased my income moving from corporate finance as a chartered accountant and an economist. I moved to technology because I was very intentional. I'm like, okay, you know what? Somebody else is earning more than me, right? And they're doing lesser work. That's being part of being intentional. And then when I started making my money, I made sure that, fund lifestyle, right? I still want to travel. I still want to do all those things. But then I am intentional about saving about 30 to 50% of my income. It was my goal. At some point, it wasn't 30 to 50%, right? But it was my goal. And then when I got to that point where I could do it, I was, in short, at some point, 60% of my income, I was putting it away. But then I wasn't just putting it away. I started putting it in investment vehicle. And of course, I lost some of it in the stock market, like I said, in penny stock, which I learned, which is a good experience. That's why I can talk to you about it. That don't do it, because if I wasn't born and I tell you don't put your money in option, I'm sure you're going to argue with me, because we have so many of all those wealth coaches out there that only teach you about day trading, options trading, and penny stock. This same thing that I'm saying I am against, right? They are there. But I tell you, because when I tell you I've lost 100,000, you will like, okay, yeah, I need to listen to this person. I don't have to lose my, um I don't have to lose my money, to be able to learn. Somebody has already won the shoes. So, and then I started putting 30 to 50% of my income away, and is extended that. So whenever I say do that, I'm not saying it from the blues. It is something that I actually do. Then I started investing, right? And learned the first one and started doing ETF, which has grown into hundreds of thousands of dollars, and then I started moving money away gradually. I mean, as a matter of fact, whenever we wanted to, because it's not just me, I mean, as a family, whenever we wanted to, myself and my husband, whenever we wanted to start investing in real estate, it started with the kids, right? That's why I'm passionate about the kids. It started with the kids because we're thinking that, okay, you know what? We're building this wealth right now. Now that we build this wealth, right? What are the fears of tomorrow? Fears of tomorrow, major expenses. Okay, buy our forever home. Yes, we were on track on that. Then the kids' education. Okay, how can we, what if something happens? How can we take care of that? We started thinking of course, we started thinking of 529 early, which is like every other person. But with the 529, it wasn't working. The money wasn't growing, I mean, it wasn't just hard enough to me because we already have our 401k. Then I have my kids' funds in somewhere that it's also been it was. And then I stopped that and we are like, okay, there has to be other ways. And that's how we actually pivoting every time, pivoted to real estate and started investing in real estate. And there's not been any turning back since then. And that's why I love it, love it so much. Because how do I explain it in 3 years or 4 years? The property that we bought $180,000, it's already worth 320,000. Even with the market drop right now, because of the interest rate, it's still at 300,000. In 3 years, that's $120,000. And guess what? It has been rented. It has been rented since for the past 3 years, and they've paid at least, I've received at least nothing less than almost $60,000 in rent, right? From that same property. So add 120,000 plus 60,000. Is it that 100% of my money that is already taken out in 3 years, right? Of course, that's how, because I buy off market deals. I don't, so I already have some equity and all of that. I do fix that up. Those are part of the strategy that I use, or we use, when it comes to, we don't buy, turnkey and all of that. Those are part of the strategies that we use, to start building well. And now think about it, having multi of that, right? Double digits of that is what we have, right? Of course, it's not everyone that's done that well, but we even have the ones that have done way better, right? Way better than that. All right, some of them are already fully paid off and all of that. So if I'm looking at my net worth, I know that, yes, even if I don't have money, even though, I can say that I'm not working, if I decide not to work, right, I can decide to say, okay, these assets is actually paying these bills, right? And I get the man of the house to work and do all of that, right? This is paying bills. Or I keep up with my job and say, okay, you know what? Let me continue to build this wealth and continue with this end income. But then I can, when they say that there's something called FU money, right? The FU money. Yes, you can actually look at your boss in the face and say, right? FU, right? Right. That's where you want to be, because that is the freedom that you want to have, becoming work optional and not having mental health issues, right? When it comes to, and that's my own, moving from, from, just think about it, from being a chartered accountant to my own career, to becoming, moving to technology, rose to the vice president of technology, investing consistently in the stock market, then diversifying to real estate, okay? And then that has changed, and also diversifying to businesses now, right? All of those kind of things, because you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. We keep doing, such that it gets to a certain point. It's about delayed gratification, because I could have taken most of my money and buy the cars. I mean, I bought the car. I mean, I will not say, but buy the, with the what money you're making, but then it's about the delayed gratification, right? And that has really helped me, change. This journey helped me change the way I think. I didn't have to go back to college. I did not. And I can see, if I did not put my money in the bank, real estate investing, these are things that have actually changed my mindset. And that's how I'm able to teach as many people and tell them that, you know what, do it this way, because I have walked the path. I can tell you about skills, and I'm glad every other speaker said the same thing, right? Today, right? You don't have to go back to college. And if you have to go back to college, get a scholarship, all of those kind of things, right? Those are the things that I used, right? I didn't get scholarship, but, take your employer money, right? You check with your employer. That's the other thing I forgot. Check with your employer. Do they pay tuition? Your current employer, is there tuition reimbursement? Whatever they're taking. I have friends that got tuition reimbursement, no matter how little. Take it, right? And, a lot of us don't know that that is available, right? That is available, because I got this from my employer, where my boss was like, you know what, I have an unlimited budget right now. If you want to go for your doctorate, you can, right? And then they paid some, or even doctor, they said they did not pay so, but I took advantage of that, right? And that's part of the reason. So check in on that as well. I just thought to add that. So, and whenever we're talking about wealth, right, always remember something. Wealth is your time wealth, your peace wealth, your money wealth, your health wealth. All of this are the things that you are chasing, right? Because everything, you have to be an holistic human being, right? Always think about it. One of the success rules, right, that you also need to follow, the success rules. Think about consistency. Information changes mind, right? Networking. Remember what I said? Networking. Information changes mind. Implementation changes lives. Remember this. So be consistent, be patient, be disciplined, right? Be disciplined and have ownership. Own your net worth. Own your freedom number. Own everything that you're supposed to own, right? Have it right there, right? Consistency, patience, discipline, and ownership. Nobody's coming to save you. Own your future, own your children's future and your children's children. Even the Bible says a white man, a good man leave inheritance for his children and his children's children, right? The Black community is one of the community that never leaves anything. We actually leave debt. And as a matter of fact, we have our children as our retirement plan, right? So change that mindset. Be the one that would let your children and your children's children call you blessed and follow all of this principle. Own it, right? Change the trajectory. I always say that be the first millionaire. You start with one person. They said that. You start with one person to say that, oh, I'm going to change it, right? If you are an immigrant, it takes one person to say, oh, I'm the first generation immigrant. If you remain in that your country, where is the first generation? Right? It has to be somebody before you now have your own children. It could be you, it could be your grandparents. I mean, your parents, it could be your grandparents, but somebody decided to make a change, right? Make a change. But then you might have all of this information, but if you do not implement it, if you do not execute it, then everything is still going to remain the same. It's just going to be 3.5 hours of a time seated. Very good session, amazing session, 3.5 hours spent, but guess what? No results. Don't be somebody without fruits, right? Where's your fruit? Where's the fruit of the spirit? Right. So implementation changes life. So you need to implement. Most people know what to do. Few actually executed. Few actually executed. So today, take the action steps. Start today. One skills first, right? If you want to learn how to, AI cybersecurity, we have that. We have a Dr. O about if your own is social work, so you want to go into that mental health or whatever space, right? Go do it. Don't keep procrastinating. Do it today. Do it today. Then once you have that skills, right? When that money start coming in, or when you grow that your money, do not just eat it up. Start investing, right? One investment per time. Then grow it from the stock market, ETF, then move it on to the wealth goal, which is, put in real estate, put it in businesses, because that's going to give you the cash flow that's going to give you the financial freedom. And guess what? That's why you see a lot of people, just so they can execute this. There is always like a mentorship. People will like, oh, you know what? Like right now, our virtual unknown mentors in this community is the millionaires, right? Just the same way, right? Just the same way, millionaires we are following their blueprint. That's why mentorship exists. Your money earns returns, right? And then the returns earn returns, right? $10 a day turns to hundreds of thousands, right? Remember, I paid $1,000. Guess what? It's worth millions, right? Multi-million at this point, right? And it doesn't start immediately. It doesn't start the same day. It's about, okay, I invested and I started growing it. I started with house 1, 2, 3, 3, but then it is about consistency. Remember, I've been on this journey for years, right? At least a decade. I've been investing for 2 decades. That's when I've been investing, been in corporate America for 2 decades. So I've been investing as long as I started working with stock options, right? With Procter & Gamble, right? And, even so, just start. And you might be like, okay, you know what? I'm in my 40s, I'm in my 50s. Is late. Just start now, right? That's why. But when you start early, and even if you are late, think about your children. Your children can start now. My teenager who is working this summer, right, as a lifeguard, is already getting the money and is putting the money in a Roth IRA. He has Roth IRA. He's already have his what's it called? The authorized credit card, authorized user on a credit card. So by the time he turns 18, he's using those money to buy the first real estate. And we are just going to support him and put money to it, right? So those are it. Understand one thing, consistency. You don't need thousands to start. Most people they're waiting until they have more money. But wealth, it doesn't come from big moment. It comes from small actions, right? Repeated consistently. $50 invested consistently, $1,000 invested once. Consistency is the real strategy. 100,000 or $27 a day, done for 10 years, 1.6 million. That's it, just done for 10 years, 1.6 million. And you're wondering where are the $1 million, where the millionaires at? All right, all right, all right. So that's it. That's it. So in terms of execution, there are two things that I want us that it's going to come out of this in terms of execution. First is we have our 21 days of mid-year money reset, because trust me, I'm not going to leave you high and dry. You will not spend 3.5 hours on a Saturday afternoon, then I leave you high and dry. No, we're going to execute, right? You're going to execute those things for the next 21 days, right? We're going to be having different actions every single day, different actions every day, whereby you are going to be having 1, 2, 3 things that you do per day. So just to give you an insight, you're going to check that your statement of account. Where is your money going? What should be your net worth? What all those things? So as a matter of fact, because you are here today, right? You're going to start your own challenge today. Your net worth, you're going to calculate it. Then tomorrow, you're going to do what was the other one? Your net worth, and there was another one. Net worth and your financial freedom number. Net worth and financial freedom number. So today you are doing your net worth. Tomorrow you're doing financial freedom number. Okay? Financial freedom number. You are starting that. So you're going to do the calculation, right? And have those one on the side, right? 21 days of, and then on Monday, you would also be on my page, on all of my platforms, you will be getting different actions, either as a talking head, as a reel, or as a carousel, or, there'll be something there for you to action. I tell you, take this action. You spend 3.5 hours. I'm so proud of every one of you today. Take that action and you would one of those every single day, right? And execute it for the next 21 days. It is the mid-year money reset challenge. It changed a lot of life at the beginning of the year, in December when we did this. That's how I even came to social media space, especially on TikTok, because that's how I started, right? The new year money reset challenge changed everything for a lot of people. But then we're going to do the reset from now, 21 days fast. That's what it is. So you don't want to miss that. The other thing is that you've learned all of this, right? You have learned all of this and you're wondering, how do you execute? You know that you can get there. It's not about how. You want to get to that $1 million league, $1 million status. You want to change that trajectory. You're tired. You want to get that financial freedom in 10 years, right? You join the $1 million league mentorship program. It's a 90 days mentorship program. As a matter of fact, because of everyone that is here right now, everything it's where you're holding ends, you're going to have access. You can ask me any questions. It's an all mentorship program, right? How do you execute this? We talked about your skill. We talked about that. How do you execute? You want to pivot. You don't know how to go about it. We'll talk about that, right? Or your skill is good already. You want to start you want to start investing in the stock market. You don't know how to go about it. You want actual hand-on, open your account, set it up, do everything, do your 4 accounts, all of those kind of things. You can do that within 90 days. You want to start doing the real estate, right? You want to buy real estate within that 90 days, right? All of the steps, you can do it within the 90 days. And then, of course, you want to start, you don't understand things about businesses and all of that. You can do it within the 90 days. And of course, the last one is your financial fortress, all those living trust, all of that. You will do it. And that's the $1 million league, right? That is a 90 days mentorship program. Always invest in yourself. $1,000 that I invested years ago, 14 years ago, has built me millions. Whoever thought that 1 million think about return on investment, right? So I remember what Dr. O said earlier is about you investing in yourself. Pay yourself first, invest in yourself, and grow it. So and because of that, because right now, like I said, it's CSR, corporate social responsibility. So we're doing everything right now at a discount, all of the products at a discount. So like I mentioned, we have the $1 million league, right? The $1 million league, which is the 90 days mentorship. With 90 days in the mentorship, you have everything. And guess what? For the first time, it's at the highest level of discount where you have access for 90 days. And then you're going to have access to everything that we have. You have access to one-on-one consultation. You have access to the wealth blueprint. You'll be able to join all of the any of the programs. The 21 days is the next program, which is free, right? And of course, you have the real estate bootcamp self-paced course. You have access to that. The smart investing workshop video, you have access to that. How to invest. Della was asking, how do you invest? You have access to that. And of course, you would also have access to this wealth building academy for you to because I'm not one of those people. 3.5 hours, some people have moved from one place to the other. I'm probably the one that is seated here, glued, right? Some people have moved around, calls that come in, you might miss one or two things and you want to go back to it. It's going to also be available for you. So it's going to, you have access to everything, right? So you would find and I'll drop let's say, if you, and for everyone that is on this call, as a matter of fact, everybody is getting it at the least discount that it has ever been. So take advantage of it. And if you want any of the, but you know that you can handle things yourself, right? You can, but your own focus is just real estate. Get out to buy the real estate 90 days bootcamp course. You can get that, right? It's also at a discount and it's for a limited time. As a matter of fact, it is just going to be for today, right? It's going to be for today. And for anybody that buys it right now in this life, right now, you are getting all of the best of the discount because that's where it is right now. If you also want the live recording of the Wealth Building Academy, we'll drop the link for you, or you can use the initial link to get it, and you would be able to get the recording of the course, right? It's a course. And then the smart investing workshop, how to invest in stock market, you have that, you have the slide, and you would also have the course. Then real estate, I talked about that, and the 90 days mentorship. This is one-on-one, right? Let me so somebody is asking, and let me pause at this point so that I can get all of the questions. All right, guys, and we'll wrap up here. Such an amazing day. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Ade. Thank you, Dr. O, as well, Dr. Tuyeli. Really appreciate your time and everyone here. And I will see you in the next one. Don't forget the 21 days money reset. So make sure you go follow and subscribe on the YouTube channel and on the Instagram channel so you don't miss out. And of course on Snap now. On Snap, I keep forgetting that. On Snap is Money Talk with Dr. Lina. And all right, take care of you and thank you so much. Have a good one. Ensure that your money is working harder than you do. Bye.